Hello crocheters, welcome to week 5 of Absolute Beginner Crochet. I kind of owe you an apology because I said I was going to post a video over the weekend. I was going to shoot it Friday and the weekend got away from me. Then I was agonizing over whether or not to do the heart in a square crochet because that one does have a lot of advanced features to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a different one for this video, and I'm going to link to the video in the email to the heart crochet. I'll let you decide which one you want to do, and I can help you with either one in class. If you feel like you've got everything down pretty easily, and you want to move on to something a little bit more strenuous, you can try the heart, or you can try this one. This one is actually a square in a square, and it's not one I've actually done with any of my classes, but in hindsight, I think I'm going to start adding this to week 4, which would be the third square, because this one is kind of a marriage between the first two, and you'll see what I mean when I get going. So since it is a marriage between the first two, it starts out like the original granny. So I'm going to do my foundation, which is chaining 4 and joining in the first chain to make our circle. And in case you need a refresher on weaving this in or crocheting over it, what I do is bring it towards the front, and that way I can hold it between my thumb and my middle finger as I'm crocheting into the circle. And that way, as I'm holding it, I'm kind of like moving it around. And that way you're both weaving it in, but also at the end, if you pull it tight, it'll close your circle nice and tight. So we're going to start this the normal granny way with 3 chains and then 2 double crochets, and this creates our first granny cluster. Now I'm going to chain 2 and do the next 3. This one is, again, pretty much all double crochets and chains, but it ends up being a really pretty, what am I doing? A really pretty, almost looks like a diamond instead of a square in a square, but it is a nice, it's a nice square, and we will change colors in this one again, and you can actually change colors more than once if you want to, you know, depending on how many colors you're using and if you want to go that far with color changes, or you can just do a couple of them. The important thing is to do the first square in one color and then the next square in a different one, just to make it stand out. All right, so I'm running my mouth and not paying attention to what I'm doing, but I think I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, and I need to do my 2 chains, and I'm going to join into the top of this chain 3. So this should look very familiar. There's our first square, and now I'm going to basically do the granny around here again. So I'm going to slip stitch over to this corner, and by slip stitching I also have to go into the corner and just pull a loop through and through, and we'll start this corner the same way we started the first round, with a chain 3, and I'm going to put 2 double crochets with it. So these corners are going to be 3, 2, 3, at least in this area. When we get to the next square around it, it might be a little different. So we're going to do a chain 2 and 3 more double crochets. I thought I had pulled out a huge hunk of yarn, but I must not have. Okay, and y'all know I don't like a chain in between my corners, so we're just going to go into the next one. To be honest, the pattern might, yeah, it actually does say to chain 1, but I'm not And I'll probably rewrite the pattern so that it doesn't say that, but we still have our space there, so that's the important thing. 3 more for this corner. This one does consist of 6 rounds. That said, you could make it smaller or you could make it bigger to fit whatever size you're currently making. Okay, there's half a corner, chain 2, 3 more doubles. I know I'm going pretty fast on this because I feel like you've seen this before. Okay, and last corner, 3 doubles. And our corner, 2 chains, 3 doubles. We're going to join into the top chain. Okay, so there's our square with 2 rounds. Now, the third round is going to be sort of setting up the foundation for the next square, so it's a little bit different. So we're going to only chain 1 here, and then single crochet technically in the same space as you joined, which would be closer to right here. And then in the next 2, we're going to single crochet. And now in this corner, we're going to put a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet. I know this is going to be a little different. So single crochet, again, you don't yarn over first. You just pull up a loop and pull through both. Okay, looks a little weird. I know, it looks very small, but trust the process. So, all right, so we're gonna do a single crochet in the next 3. 2, 3. Now we're gonna chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to come back and we're going to double crochet in the next, or excuse me, single crochet in the next 3. Then we're back to the corner. So we're going to do a single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. You can hardly see the corner, but it's there, I promise. Then we're going to do the same thing we did on this side on these other 2. So we're going to single crochet into the first 3. Then we're going to chain 5. We're going to single crochet in the last 3. Okay. Now we're at a corner, so we're going to single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet again, and one more full side of 3 singles. Oops. Chain 5, and then these last 3. And this is our last corner, so a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet. And we're going to come out of that and finish up these 3 since we started in the middle of the row. And we're going to chain 5. And we're going to join into the top of that single chain. So we've got 5 chains, 3 singles, the corner, which is a single, 2 chains and a single, then 3, 5, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 2, 1, and 3 and 5. We're back to the beginning. So now we're done with the color for this square. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I know in the previous ones I've joined it a different way in the last video to change colors, but I'm going to show you one more way to do it. And I'm actually going to slip stitch over a couple. And now I'm going to pull it through. Okay, part of the reason we have to do this a little bit differently is because we're actually going to attach our yarn into one of the chain 5 spaces. So let me grab my next color. Once I find the end of it, where'd it go? Hello. Wow, I've got a mess on my hands. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna switch to this gray. I'm gonna put the slip knot in it. And I know before when I showed you how I still had a loop on the hook and I just pulled up the new one. So to attach one randomly, you put your hook into the space, you put your slip knot or your loop with the slip knot on it. Don't pull it too tight. Pull that through. Try to keep your knot in the back. And then, get your tail out of the way, you just pull a loop through, okay? So now, we're going to work into this corner, or this chain 5. I'm going to try to move this down, see if I can get it moved over to the side a little bit better. Okay, so basically from here, these are going to be our corners. So once we have those corners done, this is going to sit in the middle like a diamond. So these corners are a little different as well. We're going to chain 3 here, and you don't count the slip stitch, so we're still chaining 3. These corners are going to be 4 double crochets and a chain 2. So we're going to put 4, which is actually going to be 3 because this is the first round, like I said. The first round of the gray at least, or the first corner, that's what I'm trying to say. It's late in the day, I'm tongue-tied. So that counts as 4, chain 2, then we're going to put 4 more. Okay, so there's our first corner. 4, chain 2, and 4. Now, we are going to chain 2 here. This is part where, the second part I do follow the pattern. And then I'm going to single crochet into the corner that we made, which is these 2 chains right here. So we're going to go in here and do a single. And then we're going to come out of that and chain 2. And now we're going to work into the next corner. So we're going to do 4 double crochets. I swear I see fuzz in this, or cat hair or something. I hope it's just yarn fuzz. Okay, there's the first half of our corner. Oh, I think it's cat hair. Oh. I have every color cat that you can imagine, and whatever color I'm working on, I'm always getting the opposite color hair. So if I'm working on white, I usually end up with the black cat's hair on me, or the dog who's also black. And if I'm working on black, I've got the white cat, so it's kind of nuts. Okay, so there's our next corner. So we've got 4 double crochets, a chain 2, and 4 more double crochets. Now we're going to chain 2 again, 1, 2, and I'm going to join with a single crochet into the previous chain 2 from the previous corner. Chain 2, and I'm back to another spot to make a corner. So 1, Ugh. Okay, that's kind of embarrassing. That's how much cat hair I have in my house right now. 2, 3, 4. At least if you're allergic to cats, it's not going to bother you. Chain 2, 4 more. Okay, so there's our third corner. Are you seeing it now? Maybe a little. And then we're chaining 2. We're going to do a single, whoops, I was trying to do a double. We're doing a single into the point, another chain 2, and the last corner. And our chain 2 and our last 4. Hello. I think my yarn split on me on that last one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now we're going to chain 2 again. 1, 2. And I'm actually going to pull this tail down, and I'm going to secure it down while I do this single crochet, just so I know it's out of the way, sort of. I'll probably still have to weave it in later, but, well, I mean, I know I will. And our last 2 chains, and we're going to join into the top of the beginning chain 3. So right here. Okay, now this is where it sort of becomes the starburst filet crochet. So we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to double crochet in the next 3. This red heart yarn is very splitty. I don't know if any of you all have experienced this yet, but it is very splitty, and that was actually Yarn Fuzz. Okay, so this counts as 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're in the corner, so we do the corner the same way. 4 double crochets. 1, 2. Gosh, I feel like I'm fighting with my yarn today. 3, 4. And another chain 2, and the other side of the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh gosh, why do you hate me? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, now we're going to crochet into these next 4. We're going to put a double crochet in each one, since that's what we're working with right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put a double crochet into this chain 2 spot. No, I'm sorry, we're not. We're skipping that. We're actually going to put a double crochet into the single crochet that's right here. Excuse me. And then we're going to skip this chain and start into the next 4. You know what? I've got to go back, because this one I do need a chain 2 after these. So sorry if you're following along and you just had to frog. I'm going to put my chain 2. Then I'm going to double crochet in here. My bad. Helps to look back at the pattern every now and then. It is one that you can pick up pretty easily. Another chain 2, and now I'm going in with the doubles. It is one that you can remember, but I've been doing some others in between and thought I could remember, and my memory's just not that good. So just happened to glance back up at my pattern and realized I was screwing up. All right, so now we're going back into the corner again with the 4 doubles. And my chain 2. And 4 more doubles. Okay, now into these 4. Now we're in a chain 2 again. Double crochet into the single. 2 chains into these 4. Now we're back in a corner, so 4 doubles. Well, it's 4, chain 2, 4 doubles. You know what? I hope you're not following along, because I did just screw up again. My goodness, y'all. I'm only supposed to do 2, 2, 2 in the corners at this point. This is one you really have to pay attention to the corners on, because you start out with your 3, 2, 3s, and then you switch to a 1, 2, 1, then a 4, 2, 4, and now we're switching back to a 2, 2, 2. So I apologize again if you are following me and having to frog with me, but see, we all make mistakes. All right, so 2, 2, 2. I was trying to figure out why it was bowing in the middle. I'm like, something's not right here. And I happened to look at the pattern again. So now we're doing the 4 across. Feel free to fast forward this if you need to. And again, I am sorry. Oh, that's going to lay better. Okay. 2 chains. Double into here. 1, 2. And now into these 4. Oh my gosh, the cat hair. It's kind of embarrassing. I'm so sorry. Speaking of cats, I had to take my 14-year-old to the vet very quickly on Monday. He's fine now, but they kept him all day, and he's gotten to the age where he's got arthritis and he doesn't groom himself very well, and so he gets matted easily because he's a long-haired cat. And when the mats start, they get very tight down to his skin, and he doesn't like me to mess with them, and I try the sneak attack to get them off and different things. By the time they've started, it's already like too late to get ahead of it. So they had to sedate him for part of what was wrong with him, and I asked him to, you know, get the bigger ones off, the tight ones that were down to his skin, and I could get the rest, but the tight ones, I'm sure it's uncomfortable, and he didn't want me messing with them. Well, they sent him home. When I went to pick him up, I didn't recognize him. He looks like a lion. He's got a lion's head and a fluffy tail, and like from here down on his legs are fluffy, and the rest of him is shaved. And I'm like, oh my God, my poor cat. So I'm sure he was not super thrilled with me. So he's been laying in a fluffy basket and keeping warm. I think he's probably a little cold. But my white cat, who you've seen jump up here, Oliver, he's kind of like a white and tabby. He acts like he has never seen the 14-year-old cat before, and he keeps hissing at him, and he will not come in the office because Mr. Z, who's the black cat, stays in here. And it's been over 2 days since he got home, and Oliver just doesn't want to have anything to do with him. I find it very weird. Oliver's usually very aggressive, not mean, but he's very alpha cat. And this is just so strange that he's rejecting Mr. Z. I guess maybe he smells like the vet, and, you know, no cat likes that smell, I'm sure. But anyway, a little kitty story. So now that I've got that right, now it's laying better. So again, sorry, I didn't want to reshoot the whole video just for a row there, but once again, I'll try to put this in the email that says, watch the whole thing through before you try to follow along with me. So hopefully you'll know just to not make my mistakes. So this should be the last corner, yes. 1, 2. And the last 4 on this side. The pattern has 6 rows, and I'm on the 5th. I actually do not like the way they finish the 6th row, and I'll explain it to you here in a second because I'm almost to that point. If you're doing a smaller square, you could stop on this round, this is the 5 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. If you go bigger, I'll explain how to do that too. But their 6th round is to just do a single crochet basically all the way around. I don't really love going back and forth between single and double crochets if you don't have to. I mean, I think it was necessary in this last round, but I think you could have easily done a half double or a double as well to keep that height. But anyway, let me do these last 2 chains and join here with a single, and these last 2, and I'm going to join back on the top of chain 3. Okay. So, like I said, what the pattern calls for is to chain 1 here and then single crochet the same way around and single crochet into each of these guys. I, again, don't love that. From here, if you want to do more, you could, since there's technically 3 rounds here, you could do a 3rd round of the same color and then switch colors again if you wanted to. It's a square, so I don't know that it really needs to, but if you decide to go 1 more round of double crochet or even more than 1, this is again sort of following the filet crochet pattern. So when we do that, we just go across all of the solids. We don't worry about the spaces that we do in the regular granny. And I'll put the 2 chains here. I just did that wrong. Can't talk and crochet at the same time. Sometimes it's been a long day. Just to keep that space so that it's distinguishable. So I am going to finish this round. You do not have to if you don't want to follow along, but this is basically what I'm doing, the same as the previous. And if you remember from the filet crochet, once you sort of get the pattern down, you just know where to go, and it doesn't have to change up. You just sort of keep going with what you've got. So you could make this as big or as small as you wanted to. I wouldn't go too huge on this one because I think if you have too much border coming out from it, you're going to miss the center, which is, you know, kind of the point here is to have this cute little diamond in here. But it is your blanket and your square, and you can actually do whatever you want to. You don't have to listen to me. Just listen to me when I screw up and make mistakes, though, because I don't want you to make the same ones. But I personally think that mistakes are opportunities to learn something, so I try to embrace my mistakes. And I will always admit when I'm wrong. I'm one of those people. I've never thought any one person always needed to be right, and I'm definitely not one of them. But I might debate you a little bit before I do admit that I'm wrong, so there's that. I mean, you know, a little healthy debate's good for everybody. And I'm keeping up with the 222 in the corner. So in class, I will bring the printed pattern for this, and I will also bring the printed pattern for the heart. And again, the heart is that video I shot in for the spring classes. So I'm going to link that one below just because I don't want to wait too long to get this video out to you all. If I have to shoot another one, it's going to take a little longer. So if you need help with it in class, I'll be more than happy to help because it is trickier. And when I actually always pretty much sit down and do a square again before I even do the video just to make sure my instructions are right and to refresh my memory, because aside from the granny square and the filet starburst square, I can't remember them all. Once I do one, like once I do this a couple times, let's just say a couple times, I can usually remember it, unless it's a huge square and it's intricate or something like that. So when I sat down to do the heart, I remembered that it is tricky. Turning the heart back into a square requires a lot of varying stitches, and I know we've done the treble once or twice in, well, I know we did it in the circle last week, or some of you did actually. Actually, some of you haven't done it yet. It depends on how big you made your square or your circle that you had to turn into a square. So there's a treble in it, there's half doubles, and there are, I think there's a picot stitch, which is nothing more than a chain two, but they call it a picot, and to me it just kind of throws people off. But it does require making sure you've got the right number of stitches in your heart, otherwise your square won't come out right. And I know we said the same thing sort of about the circle, but the heart is even trickier because of how it's made. It's super easy to skip a stitch or two. And as I was doing it, I was just thinking about the fact that there are a few people that are catching up still, who are still working on the grannies or whatever. And there are some of you that are moving pretty quickly. But I don't want anybody to feel left behind. So that's why I didn't elect to do a new video for that one, but you have a choice. If you want to try it for this week, feel free. If you're particularly fond of the granny. Gosh, what did I do here? See, even I screw up. How many do I have there? Should have had 5. Strange. Okay, I'm not sure what I did, but I'm just going to keep going. So this is one of those, remember me telling you that crocheters are problem solvers? I'm just going to keep going. If you don't feel like trying the heart before class, because I know we're getting pretty close to class, it might not be a bad idea to try it later or before week 6 class, so a week from Thursday. The only reason I say that is week 6 we're going to do a starburst. It's kind of a starburst flower. It's very pretty, and I'll show it to you in class before we do it, of course. I'll show it in this week's class. And then after that, we're doing the last one. And both of those are, well, the starburst flower has clusters and puff stitches. I was about to say bobble, but it's a puff stitch. So the heart being a tad bit more intricate might help you with your terminology once we get to week 6. That's the only reason I say give it a whirl. It will help you to watch me do that one. It is not an easy one to do just straight from a pattern if you're not used to reading the patterns. So for the video, I'm going to stop here, but you can see if I wanted to do another round, I could do it pretty easily from here. Again, it's not a hard one. It's just got a couple tricky places, clearly, because it tripped me up a couple times. But like I said, I haven't done it in a few days. I did do one over the weekend. It came out fine, but then I've been doing a couple other things during the week while I was agonizing whether or not to put the heart video up or not. So I'm going to stop here, and I'll see you all in class. And happy crocheting, and just hit me up if you need any help with anything, okay? Thanks.